Hi everyone, welcome to Artful Kids Club. I'm Rebecca, and today I want to talk about making a paper mache unicorn. That's right, you can actually make a unicorn with a paper mache mold. You can buy it already made like this, and there's some really fun techniques for painting it, which I'd like to show you. I also want to point out, maybe even before you get your unicorn, if you're looking for an inspiring unicorn story, this book, Uni the Unicorn, is probably my kid's favorite. And we're gonna actually make our unicorn inspired by the pictures in this book. Okay, so I want to talk about the materials that we're going to need for this project. In addition to your paper mache unicorn, you're going to need pastels. And I'm an art teacher, I work with students all the time, and so I use pastels a lot. As I tell my students, oil pastels are like paint in a stick, but not all oil pastels are created the same. I've used all three of these types, the Artist Loft, Faber-Castell, and my very favorite is Pentel. These are actually the most economical, but for whatever reason, I find that they're superior. They always work better. I get better colors, better results. As you can see, I use these a lot. This is not a brand new set. They come in different sizes. You can get a 36, you can get a 50, you can get a 75, you can get a 100, or even a set of 12. So you can get different numbers at different price points. What you do with these is obviously you open them up, you get to apply them as paint onto the unicorn. But let's talk about the other materials that you're going to need. I'll set these aside. You're going to need Mod Podge. Mod Podge is an amazing, non-toxic sort of collage sealer. It's a washable sealer, it's a glue, and this particular one is sparkly. It's a glitter Mod Podge, which is incredibly fun with the unicorn. Another material that you can use with oil pastel is baby oil. Good old baby oil actually helps as a medium to make the oil pastel more like oil paint. I also like to pick up some craft brushes, and I have links below to all of these items where I get them the most economically, so you can take a look at those links later. But craft brushes, and that's what we need for this. All right, so let's get started. As you can see, I've got my oil pastels open. I have two sets here because these are both used sets, so I will mix and match colors to get everything I want. And then I've got my paper mache unicorn. So this unicorn is what I'm going to be painting. And again, I'm painting it with the oil pastels as paint. This is a fantastic project to do with your child. It is so fun to do together. And what I do is I encourage you to use what we call in art language analogous colors. That means choose colors like pink, purple, light pink, dark pink, magenta, white, colors that blend really well together and aren't opposite to one another. Colors that are kind of similar, that's where that word analogous colors come from. When you do that, you can create some really great effects, but you don't end up with a muddy mixture. So as you see here, all I'm doing is just coloring. I'm just coloring on the unicorn like you might do with color crayons. What I would tell my child, if I was doing this with my child, is to try to make it really thick so that none of the paper mache brown color is showing through. Okay, so now that I've applied the color pretty evenly, pretty thick, it's time to use the Mod Podge. So I'm just gonna pick up a nice thick craft brush, dip it into my sparkly Mod Podge, and start to apply it just like paint. Now the cool thing about the Mod Podge is as you press it into the oil pastel, it picks up the pastel and essentially turns it into a paint medium. It moves like paint now. It mixes like paint. And the beauty of this is that instead of having to get out a bunch of pots of, say, tempera paint, they're gonna get all over the place. This is a pretty neat and tidy project. The other thing I love about it is that it's easy to help control the colors for your child. Not control their creativity, but limit their palette a little bit. In art language, that's basically like saying, don't give them every single color at the same time, but just give them a few colors that harmonize nicely. So you avoid creating this kind of muddy, murky, brownish, greenish, slime colored mixture, which is what kids often will do if they don't have some structure. So by creating this structure of some limited colors and then painting it with the Mod Podge, you get a great result. And at the same time, the Mod Podge seals it so you don't smudge. It will dry, clear, glossy, glittery, and it will protect the paper mache from some wear and tear. So it's really a cool technique to create a painted object. I have used this technique for lots of objects, not just this unicorn. Here, I've used the same technique to make a birdhouse with my daughter. I've used the same technique to make this one over here. And you can see we just ended up with such bright colors. This is such a great activity to do with your child. You know, psychologists tell us that the #1 need of our toddlers in terms of relational growth at this time is a sense of connection, a deep bond with mom and dad. And as you can see, my daughter is just so close to me. She feels physically close. We're working together. There's verbal and nonverbal interaction going on. And so even if you're not so into the art part of this, I would recommend an activity like this so that you can bond and connect with your growing preschooler toddler. Now make sure that you take some time to move the unicorn around. It's pretty hard to get into all the little, corners and under the legs, the sides of the legs, under the chin. So you can just pick up your unicorn and move it as you go. And that's another reason I recommend doing one side, letting it dry, and then do the other side. It allows you to be a little less sticky, messy at each section. So thank you for joining us here at Artful Kids Club. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. Remember, all you need is Mod Podge, a paper mache unicorn, and some oil pastels, and you are set. Also, don't forget to check out the book, Uni the Unicorn. This is such a gorgeous, I'm just gonna give you a little sneak peek, but this is an absolutely gorgeous, inspiring little book. I love the illustrations. My daughter absolutely loves it. So if you're looking for a good book about unicorns, I recommend this one. And we also have a little free download for you here at Artful Kids Club. If you go to the link below, I have a little book called Unicorns in Art. It's just a cute little overview of some art history related to unicorns, so you can even expand the learning for your child. Thank you so much for joining us, and check out some of our other videos. Feel free to subscribe below. See you next time.